Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. My weekly editor, Martin Creamer, joins me today to unpack the latest in the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Ashley.
Now, can you tell us about South Africa being in a strong position to export energy, as suggested by Amplat's CEO?
You know, at this point in time in the world, if you can produce more renewable energy as a country than you need, you're in a very good position, because then you can look to exports. Why do you want to export? Because Europe, because Germany, because these other countries need that extra, because they don't have the ability to produce as much renewable energy as they need. So this is a point driven home by Anglo-American Platinum's Natasha Fulton this week, and she did it very convincingly. And it indicates that, you know, there should be no expectation that South Africa can't play a big role in energy. Now, it sounds crazy when we sit here load shedding, but we've got a different way of doing it now. We've been burning the coal. We've got the sun, we've got the wind, and when you combine them, we're in a strong position because we can also store. And people have worked out the formula that you need for the storage. We're also in a better position with storage. You know, some people have got a number of days that seems horrific that you have to have storage capacity. We only got a need for 8 days when they work out all of this. So I think that not enough attention is being given to it. You know, you see it mentioned down science and technology corridors, but there needs to be much more emphasis, and we need to move much faster, because we can really export energy. And you see a few people that have woken up to this. You know, the former chairperson of Standard Bank, Thulani Gabashi, is in there, you know, working on his study. We see the Prieska power coming up from the Northern Cape, working on it. But Namibia has really gone in a bigger fashion than we have. So I think that some champion needs to arrive to put this all together so we can actually export energy. It's going to be a brilliant thing. We've been importing oil. You know, we've had that tradition of our hard-earned foreign currency going out. Now we can let it come in.
And Pan-African has published its definitive feasibility study on Mogale Gold's tailing storage facilities. What are the highlights of the study?
You know, this is great because you get a company like Pan-African Resources, listed in London and Joburg, moving forward on the way you get gold out of tailings. And that is a low-cost way of doing it and a safer way of doing it, because you've got these dumps on surface. But when they came forward with these figures, I mean, it's so compelling to go ahead with getting that gold out of those dumps that you wonder why people haven't done it, you know, a long time ago. So this will go ahead, I think, and the payback is quick. 3.5 years, the 2.5 billion that they need is not even geared, which means they're not borrowing in the way they would normally have to for projects like this. It's got everything going for it, and this will go ahead. But it reminds me of what we've been saying over and over. You know, we travel to Soweto and you see all these dumps, and you think, well, this is like the Berlin Wall that they created between Joburg and Soweto, keep the people apart. Now you've got taxis having to come in, you know, with these people. They don't see their grandkids because they're sitting in a taxi, you know. The travel time is incredible. What you've got to do is get some guy with a brain to say, we're going to remove all this, but we're going to make it such a profitable thing. We're going to get the gold out of it. Now, there are people that can do it. And there's not only gold, there are other things there. Let's get that out. We recover all that land. So you now have a situation where people can move closer to the city. They don't have to be in a taxi all the time. And you make a lot of money out of it. So it's just a win-win-win situation. But when are people going to listen? Government stops all this. Why? It seems absolutely crazy. It's a no-brainer.
Lastly, Martin, tell us about Orion's capital raise for Prieska.
And again, you see here we've got this great asset down there. It was found in 1968. Anglo-Val, that used to be a big mining house there in Joburg, they went down, they got copper and zinc, and it was fabulous. Then the zinc price and the copper price fell. In the early 90s, they closed this thing. But it takes someone coming from Australia to pick it up. Now, what is wrong with us? You know, I once mentioned this to Anglo and one of the other companies, and they said, no, it's a bit too small. But look how big these guys are making this. So we have to get Australian money in here, and then we combine it with a little bit of South African money to get things that are just waiting there to be developed. And we see the capital raising going on now. You know, they're still It's an effort to raise capital for South Africa. There's no doubt about it, because we see that everybody sees us as being very slow and not being able to do things. But it looks like by August the 5th, hopefully they'll have 250 million. They can then, in 19 months, get this thing running. Now, that is unbelievable. You've got copper, zinc coming out there. The copper price is down now, but copper is going to be needed. We wonder where the CISAs of this world now. We've got a CISA, which all their members collect all our provident funds, pension funds, and then they stick up these rules that are so unbelievable that South Africans can't invest in anything like this. They won't put. So they've destroyed that side of the stock exchange, and they don't seem to be intent on trying to recreate it. You know, you see an Australian provident fund and pension fund coming into this. They're putting money into it, so they can see it. All they've got is a few analysts. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg. But no, we had Treasury saying, no, we're going to come up with a fantastic thing. They did some years back. It has been a total disaster. The only people that have benefited from it are these boutiques in Cape Town. Now, why is it always, this Western Cape mentality here? They don't like mining, but they like tourism. If we had relied on tourism during COVID, we'd have been finished. But we had mining, which saved the day. But they don't recognize that. And, they've got fewer and fewer of these managers controlling trillions, 7 trillion rand. And if you bring in PRC, 9 trillion rand. But they're not bringing it into our assets. So they're not creating jobs. They're content with 10%, whereas some of these assets, they give you 400%, or they give you 1,000%. I mean, if you look at some of them. So if they even put 1% of the money in here, they'd get so much of this going. They'd create so much jobs, so much wealth. But they won't look at it. When you speak to them, they get angry. I mean, I was at a situation where the one guy from Treasury, we were around a table, and he found that he was next to a journalist. I don't want to be with journalists. So he runs off. I mean, he causes a hell of a disturbance. Fortunately, he's no longer in the Treasury, but still, that is the mental attitude that you get. But you always find it trickles down to Western Cape, that they get the benefit. And I think it's got to change.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.